dear listeners. How are you? Welcome to our podcast. My name is Emma.
And I'm Max. Thanks for joining us today.
Today, we're talking about something super important for learning English: listening. Listening is a big part of learning any language, and we're going to explain why it's so important and how it can help you.
That's right, Emma. Listening helps you in many ways. First, it improves your understanding of English. When you listen, you hear how words are pronounced, how sentences are put together, and how native speakers talk naturally.
Exactly, Max. And when you listen a lot, your brain starts to learn patterns in the language. It's like a child learning to talk. Children listen to their parents, friends, and family every day before they start speaking. Listening is their first step to learning.
Yes, and the same is true for you if you're learning English. When you listen, you pick up on new words and phrases. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain is still learning.
Another great thing about listening is that it helps with pronunciation. For example, when you hear the word water from a native speaker, you'll notice how it sounds. It might not sound like how you read it, right?
That's true. Listening helps you hear the small sounds that are hard to catch when you're just reading or writing. Over time, this will make your speaking clearer and more natural.
And listening isn't just about understanding words. It's also about feeling the rhythm and flow of the language. English has a certain way of stressing words and using pauses. When you listen, you start to feel this rhythm, and it makes speaking and understanding easier.
Yes, and let's not forget about accents. There are many types of English accents, like American, British, Australian, and more. Listening to different accents helps you understand English better no matter where it's spoken.
That's a great point, Max. Listening also builds your confidence. When you listen to English and start to understand it, even just a little, you feel good. You think, I can do this, and that feeling makes you want to learn more.
Exactly, Emma, and there are so many fun ways to practice listening. You can listen to podcasts like this one, watch movies or TV shows, listen to music, or even watch YouTube videos.
Yes, and don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. That's normal. The key is to keep listening. Over time, you'll notice that you're understanding more and more.
And here's a tip. Try to listen to things you enjoy. If you love music, find songs in English. If you like sports, watch interviews with athletes. When you listen to things you like, it's easier to stay interested and learn.
That's so true, Max. And remember, listening isn't something you do just once in a while. The more you listen, the better you get. It's like practicing a sport or playing an instrument. You have to do it often to improve.
Right, and one more thing to keep in mind is to not worrying about understanding every single word. Focus on the main idea. Sometimes, even native speakers don't catch every word, and that's okay.
Absolutely, Max. Listening is a skill, and like any skill, it takes time and practice. But the good news is that it's fun. You can learn so much by simply listening to the world around you.
I agree, Emma, so let's dive even deeper into this topic and talk about how listening can become a daily habit.
Thanks, Max. Let's talk more about how listening can become part of your daily life. You don't need to spend hours every day. Even a few minutes of listening can help you improve your English.
That's right, Emma. For example, you can listen to a podcast or a short video while eating breakfast. Or you can listen to some English music while walking or exercising.
Exactly. Listening doesn't always have to be serious or feel like studying. It can be something fun and relaxing. For example, if you enjoy cooking, try watching a cooking video in English. You're learning new words and listening at the same time.
And if you're busy, you can listen to English on the go. When you're in the car, on the bus, or even cleaning your room, just play something in English in the background.
Yes, Max. And one of my favorite things to do is watch movies or TV shows in English. You can start with subtitles in your own language, then move to English subtitles, and And finally, try watching without any subtitles.
That's a great idea, Emma. Watching without subtitles might feel hard at first, but it really helps you focus on listening. Plus, you get to hear how people really talk, like their tone, speed, and expressions.
Exactly. And don't forget about audiobooks. They're a wonderful way to practice listening. You can find stories or books you like and listen to them in English. It's like having someone read to you.
That's true, Emma, and for people who are just starting, there are audiobooks made for beginners. They use simple language and are slower, so they're easier to understand.
Right, and another tip is to listen to the same thing more than once. The first time, you might only understand a little. But the second or third time, you'll notice more details, like new words or phrases.
Good point, Emma. Repetition is key. It helps your brain get used to the sounds of English. And over time, you'll find that some words or sentences start to feel familiar.
Exactly, Max. And when you listen, try to pay attention to how words are connected. In English, words often blend together. For example, "What are you doing?" might sound like "what you're doing." Listening helps you recognize these changes.
Yes, that's so important, and don't be afraid to copy what you hear. If you like a sentence or a phrase, try saying it out loud. It's like practicing your speaking and listening together.
I love that tip, Max. It's like singing along to a song. You're listening and speaking at the same time, and it's fun.
Exactly, and speaking of fun, playing language games can also help. There are apps and websites where you can listen to English and answer questions or repeat sentences.
That's a great suggestion. And you know, Max, I think listening to people talking about their daily lives is also very helpful. You can learn how people describe everyday things like shopping, cooking, or traveling.
Absolutely, Emma, and don't forget about English news channels or podcasts. Even if they seem fast, you can start with short clips and slowly build your confidence.
Yes, and if you're listening to something and don't understand, don't worry. It's okay to pause and think, or even look up a word if you need to. The important thing is to stay curious and enjoy the process.
That's right, Emma. Listening is a journey, and every little step helps. Let's talk more about how to make listening practice even better.
Thanks, Max. Now let's talk about how to make your listening practice as effective as possible. One of the best ways is to set small goals. For example, you could aim to listen to 5 minutes of English every day.
That's a great tip, Emma. Small goals make it easier to stay consistent. And when you meet your goal, you feel good and want to keep going.
Exactly, and try to mix it up. Don't just listen to one kind of English. You can listen to conversations, songs, news, or even nature videos. This keeps your practice interesting and helps you learn different styles of speaking.
Yes, and it's important to choose things that match your level. If something is too hard, you might feel frustrated. But if it's too easy, you won't learn much. So find things that challenge you just a little bit.
That's a great point, Max. And don't forget to focus when you listen. Turn off distractions like your phone or TV. Even 5 minutes of focused listening can be more helpful than an hour of listening while doing other things.
Absolutely. And another idea is to listen actively. This means not just hearing the words, but also thinking about them. For example, ask yourself questions like, "What does this mean?" or "Why did they say it that way?"
Yes, and if you have a notebook, you can write down new words or phrases you hear. Then try to use them in your own sentences later. This helps you remember and use what you learn.
Great idea, Emma. And speaking of practice, it's also good to listen to the same audio multiple times. The first time, you might just catch the main idea. The second time, you'll notice more details, like how words are pronounced.
Exactly, Max. Repeating is like peeling an onion. Each time you listen, you understand a little more. And don't forget to listen to things that match your interests. When you enjoy what you're listening to, It's easier to stay motivated.
And here's something fun to try. Find a listening buddy. You can listen to something together and then talk about it. Maybe you both like a certain song or TV show, and you can discuss what you understood.
That's a fantastic idea, Max. Talking about what you hear helps you understand it better. And if you're learning alone, you can still talk to yourself about what you listen to. It might feel funny, but it works.
It really does, and remember, listening isn't about being perfect. It's about improving step by step. Even if you only understand a little, you're still making progress.
Exactly. And don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at their own speed. What matters is that you keep practicing and enjoying the process.
Yes, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. The more you listen, the more confident you'll become.
That's so true, Max. And remember, listening isn't just about learning words. It's about understanding people, their feelings, and their culture. When you listen, you connect with the language in a deeper way.
Absolutely, Emma, listening helps you feel closer to English, and it makes learning so much more exciting.
We hope this podcast has shown you how important listening is and how you can use it to improve your English every day.
Yes, thank you so much for listening. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to our channel, share this podcast with your friends, and let us know what you think in the comments.
And don't forget, learning English is a journey. Keep listening, keep practicing, and most of all, have fun.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.